dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:30 on this Wednesday. I'm Will Puckett. If you step outside, make sure you have a couple layers on because you're going to need it today because temps might be the coldest we have ever seen. Let's bring Brandon in on the fold here. And Brandon, here in eastern Kentucky, it might not get that cold, but across a lot of the United States, they're seeing record-breaking cold temps.
There you go. I was going to be like, no, not here, Will, but in some places, absolutely record-breaking temperatures. But it is going to be pretty cold here for the next 48 hours or so. Let's take a look at the camera network this morning. We start with the I-64 camera up toward Moorhead, and that's where we've seen the snow so far, but that band of snow is drifting south, and you can see even there they didn't have a whole lot, maybe a coating, maybe a close to half an inch there in some areas, but again, it's sticking to the roads. The roads are cold enough that we are going to see that trend continue. If we go over to Pikeville, to the Pikeville Medical Center camera and take a look there, and we're looking over downtown, we're not seeing a whole lot of activity just yet, but the snow band is headed that way. As we come out to the WYMT studios, you can see not a whole lot of activity here outside of our studios in Hazard this morning and over Whitesburg as well. Pretty quiet start to the day there. There's the snow on the satellite radar drifting southward there. Pikeville, you're probably seeing that here in a few minutes. The Big Sandy, East Kentucky County seeing it already and starting to drift into parts there. Not as defined there on pinpoint Doppler radar, so light snow, but as you see, it can accumulate quickly. Winter weather advisory for most of the region through later this morning. Wind chill advisory through 1 o'clock for the I-64 Mountain Parkway corridors and into southwest Virginia. Temperatures cold, teens, single digits. You factor in the wind chill, it feels like below zero in some spots, single digits for a lot of others. Planning out your day, plan for colder temperatures all day long. Some sunshine possible, but it'll be deceiving sunshine as we get into the low to mid-teens by late this afternoon. The rest of the forecast is on the way here in just a few minutes. Will.
Dangerous cold, that's for sure, Brandon. Well, a Dante, Virginia man was convicted of murder in Wise County yesterday. Larry Leon Snake Fields was convicted during the second day of his trial for felony murder, reckless handling of a firearm, and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. The charges stem from the March 2018 shooting death of Mark Anthony Ward. Fields faces between 5 and 65 years behind bars. Well, meanwhile, state troopers arrested a Knox County man after they say he sexually abused young children. This man, 29-year-old Joseph Davis, was taken into custody after social services received a report of sexual assault. Davis is charged with 3 counts of first-degree sodomy, 3 counts of first-degree sexual abuse, 3 counts of first-degree criminal abuse, and 1 count of first-degree rape. He is being held in the Knox County Detention Center. For 75 years, Martin Stallings committed his life to bettering his little town near the Yerkes community in Perry County. He was known as someone who would always help anyone down on their luck. In his free time, he would build tombstones for families that simply couldn't afford it, and he would constantly take care of his family's gravesite. He died back in June of 2016 and was buried there. And recently, someone vandalized his grave, taking dozens of items from it. WYMT's Connor James has more.
This walk has never been easy.
Breaks my heart. I'm his wife for 53 years.
Helen Stallings is going on 3 years without her beloved Martin by her side.
Martin was a man of the community. He was born here. He passed away here.
He worked hard,
right,
including on the railroads that span through this county.
Worked hard, put his young'uns through college.
Now he's buried at the White John Caldwell Cemetery.
This cemetery would not be what it is today without him.
The same cemetery he helped build and keep up through the years. He was known for repairing the old graves here and building headstones during his free time to mark the graves lost to time.
He built 80-some sets of stones and put on this cemetery.
He peacefully rests here. Helen's made the trip plenty of times, but during the weekend...
And then come back here and see that people stole alive.
Someone stole items Helen and her kids laid out for Martin.
I would appreciate it if somebody could let me know, because it is so hard to come back here and see how hard me and my kids has worked.
The items only add up to a couple $100, some lights and decorations, but the sheer sentimental value of them,
we appreciate anything that you all could do for us,
is irreplaceable. In Perry County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Helen has filed a report with the Perry County Sheriff's Office Anyone with information is asked to give them a call. Meanwhile, the American Lung Association's State of Tobacco Control report finds Kentucky must do more to prevent reduced tobacco use. According to the report, Kentucky earns failing grades in new tobacco control report. Now, the Lung Association is calling on officials to support smoke-free students legislation. The association says tobacco use remains the nation's leading cause of preventable death and disease, taking an estimated 480,000 lives every year. Well, the Lee County Hospital Authority voted Tuesday night to partner with Ballad Health to reopen the county's hospital. The authority also voted to end its previous contractual agreement with another company called AmeriCorps. That's set to be terminated on February 1st. We don't yet know what services Ballad Health would provide at the Lee County Hospital or when it will reopen. Well, engineers who have looked at Pike County's landfill say it will be completely full in 4 to 8 years. And because of this, county officials have discussed 3 options: build a new landfill, expand the current one, or send the trash to landfills in other counties. At a fiscal court meeting Tuesday, county officials said the solid waste department not only does not have any money saved for any of those options, but operates at a $1 million deficit each year.
It takes you 2 to 3 years to get all of your permitting done, construction work done, and we don't have any money set aside to construct or to open a new landfill.
Garbage pickup rate increases were discussed at the meeting, but none were voted on. County officials say they are waiting for other engineering company to estimate the life remaining of the current landfill and give quotes on what rates would need to go to in order to fund a new one. Well, from a podium inside Memorial Hermann, Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo shared more about the shooting that went down Monday. Just before 5 p.m. Monday, 9 undercover narcotics officers moved in on a southeast Houston home, breaching the front door to make a drug bust. The shooting started when a pit bull charged officers. As a cop shot and killed the dog, police say Dennis Tuttle came from the back of the home, sparking a firefight with his .357 Magnum revolver. 4 officers were shot and another was hurt trying to get away. Now, the man accused of killing 11 people at Pittsburgh's Tree of Life Synagogue is now facing new charges. On Tuesday, the Department of Justice said a grand jury is charging Robert Bowers with additional federal hate crimes and firearm offenses. Bowers now faces a 63-count indictment in last October's massacre. He has already pleaded not guilty to the original charges. In addition to the 11 people killed, 2 worshipers were critically injured. 12 other congregants were able to escape unharmed. 22 of the counts Bowers now faces carry a maximum penalty of death. More than a year after the tragic mass shooting in Las Vegas, and investigators still do not have a motive. A gunman opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel onto attendees at the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival on October 1st of 2017. 58 people were killed and nearly 500 more were injured. The FBI has wrapped up its investigation into the shooting. The agency said in a report there is no single clear motivating factor. Investigators found the shooter, who killed himself, was seeking fame from the attack. A permanent remembrance wall for the victims was installed at Las Vegas Healing Garden last year. Well, the heads of U.S. intelligence community appeared on Capitol Hill yesterday to lay out the security threats currently facing the United States. Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats warned the Senate Intelligence Committee about the cyber threat posed by what he called the Big Four: China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran in the next presidential election.
We assess that foreign actors will view the 2020 U.S. elections as an opportunity to advance their interests. We expect them to refine their capabilities and add new tactics.
Now, the intelligence community and the White House also seem at odds in their assessment of Iran. The Trump administration pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal and reimposed sanctions, but the CIA director says Iran is still in compliance with the agreement. Meanwhile, health officials in the Northwest are warning people to vaccinate their children for measles. They are worried that it could take months to contain the highly contagious viral illness due to a lower than normal vaccination rate at the epicenter of the crisis. The outbreak near Portland has sickened 35 people in Oregon and Washington since the beginning of the year, with 11 more cases suspected. Now, most of the patients are children under 10, and one child has been hospitalized. The battle over Brexit heated up again in British Parliament, with lawmakers struggling to agree on the best way for the United Kingdom to leave the European Union. Politicians managed to unite behind a key change to Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit plan. They want to maintain an open border between Ireland and the British province of Northern Ireland. Lawmakers also urged the government to rule out leaving Brexit with no plan in place.
If this House can come together, we can deliver the decision the British people took in June 2016, restore faith in our democracy, and get on with building a country that works for everyone.
If you've never taken time to watch a PMQ, Brandon and I both highly recommend it. Now, Britain is set to leave the European Union on March 29th. Nearly 3 years after a slim majority of British voters said yes to Brexit. Britain is the first country to leave the European Union in the EU's 60-year history. Now back to the United States this morning, where Kentucky Senator and Majority Leader Mitch McConnell weighs in with his thoughts on the partial government shutdown that lasted a whopping 35 days.
I don't like shutdowns. I don't think they work for anybody, and I hope they'll be avoided. I'd be open to anything that we could agree on a bipartisan basis that would make them pretty hard to occur again. There's some differences about how to craft that, but I'm certainly open to it. I think this is an example of government dysfunction, which should be embarrassing to everyone on a bipartisan basis.
Now, the government is funded through February 15th. At that time, another shutdown could occur if a permanent spending package is not approved. Coming up on Mountain News this morning, tax season is right around the corner. We have tips for filing this year.
It's going to be a good day to stay inside, whether you're working or at home, because temperatures only go down from here. I'll track out the cold in about 2.5 minutes.